Get up to 10% cash back with the card we're going to talk about today. I'll tell you how that works at the end. First, if you enjoy these videos, I'd really appreciate if you gave a thumbs up for the video and you should subscribe so you don't miss future videos. It really helps the channel out and I appreciate it. This is the Discover Cashback credit card. They have two different, they being Discover, have two different cards that give you cash back, and they do vary. First up, we're going to talk about the one that they call their straight cashback card. Now, it has no annual fee, just like many other cards, so not a huge deal. It does have an excellent transfer rate. You can get 0% if you transfer a balance from another card onto this one. So just for example, if you've got a credit card with $10,000 in debt, you're paying 20% interest, you can transfer it to this card and they'll give you 0% for 15 months. There is a 3% transfer fee. So you have to factor that in, but it will pay itself off, believe me, if you're making low payments, but you're trying to add some principal over time. So 0% for 15 months with a 3% transfer fee. I believe that lasts for a limited time. It might be 5 or 6 months. And here's how the cashback card works. This one got my attention because they say 5% back. Everyone loves to throw out that number now, but usually it's only in specific areas. And with this card, it's only in their categories. Now, I'm not a big fan of category cards because I really prefer just to get cash back on everything I buy. However, I do churn cards, rotate cards based upon where I may be using them or how much they're providing back in certain categories. So with this particular card, they have 4 different categories. And the way it works is actually not so bad. It's actually per quarter, and they do it on a calendar year. So January, February, March being the first quarter, there's a category of spending. And if you purchase from those types of, let's say it might be restaurants or it might be gas stations. So during those 3 months, you have to use the card at those places and you'll get 5% cash back. And then the next quarter, April, May, June, it's a different category, different types of stores. So if you're willing to keep track of it and look at where you're spending and where you're going, this one will make sense to get that 5% back. However, there is, and know this, there is a spending limit. It's not obvious on the site, but it's in the fine print of $1,500 a quarter. Now, let's say that in the January, February, March category, for sake of argument, it's gas stations and maybe restaurants. You can spend as much as you want at them, but you're only going to get 5% back up to a $1,500 spend. And then the next quarter, 5% back up to $1,500. And that's cumulative. So January, February, March, $1,500. Roughly speaking, it's $500 a month. You can do it all in one month if you want, but it's $500 and that counts gas stations and let's say restaurants if that's what the categories are in that particular month. Now, gas stations alone, gas at $3 a gallon, you might just eat up a lot of that. And there are cards that give sometimes 6 or even more % back just for gas. So you're going to want to look at what categories they are and when you can use them. Now, outside of the rotating categories every quarter, 4 quarters in the year, obviously, you get 1% back on all other categories. And that's an unlimited amount of cash back. Most cards do that. That's not a big deal. Now, here's what's interesting about this card is that at the end of your first year of using it, and it's 365 days or 12-month period of time. In other words, if you get the card in July, it's not just until December. When they say the first year, they mean you sign up whenever you sign up and 12 months later. During that time, you're going to get twice as much back. They double your cash back. So whatever you made in cash back, they're going to double it. That's why I say in the first year, you can get up to 10% back. So if you were to use this card and churn it, meaning using it just in those quarters for the categories that they state, so you can get 5% back on everything you use on this card in the right categories. At the end of the year, let's say you're looking at $500 cash back, you're going to end up getting $1,000 because they will double it. And it's an unlimited amount that they will double. In other words, whatever you earn, they will double it. So that's a big bonus for this card in year 1. So I look at 3 different categories. First, when it comes to churning the cards, I would give it a 7 out of 10. Why? Because it's not all categories, such as a card that says 2% for all categories. You actually have to watch it and see each quarter where you need to be spending. So it does take a little bit of time, but it can be worth it. Second thing, when it comes to what we look at, the transfer, it's great for a transfer get out of debt strategy. So when you're looking to save money on interest payments and you've got debt on one card at 20, 25, 28% interest, you can transfer it over to this one, 15 months, 0%. You're going to want to either pay it off during those 15 months or then transfer it somewhere else. Third category we typically look at is cash back. And this one's excellent as long as you use it in the right categories. So you can get that 5% back in the categories that they have rotating. And then during the first year, you're going to get double the amount. I'd give that maybe an 8 out of 10 because it's not the easiest thing to use. But it is an excellent card, especially if you want to move money to this card, using it as a strategy to pay off debt. 0% interest. Note that there is a 3% transfer fee. And then use it for the first year. See how you like it. See if you're able to keep up with the categories. Some people aren't able to keep up with the categories. They don't want to have to pay attention to it. The card's not for you. But if you are willing to do that at the end of year one, see how it worked for you. You're going to get double the cash back and then decide whether or not you want to keep it. Thanks for watching, and we'll review the other Discover card next and then compare both of them.